And I have community on the brain lately. If you're on my email list, you got an email from me yesterday talking about my thoughts about community and how I had felt about our community based on something I read on Facebook. And so that got me thinking. And I decided to also have tonight be focused around community, but a little bit different than the vibe I took with my email. And for tonight, I wanted to work from this quote that I hear a lot in a podcast that I listen to. And I don't know if you guys are big podcast listeners or not. You can let me know your favorite podcasts. I'm always interested in finding new podcasts to listen to when I'm in the car or when I'm cleaning the house, that type of thing. And I listen to a lot of business and entrepreneurial podcasts, and one is Entrepreneurs on Fire. And he ends every podcast with this quote, and it's that you are the average of the five people you spend the most time with. And he always does that as a way to encourage that you're trying to surround yourself with people who are going to lift you up. They're going to motivate you, challenge you, be constructive with you, be a role model, and to use that for business. But I think it's such a broader subject and something that I think we all have in our lives and that we could maybe consider and think about if we need to make some adjustments. Because I also think that it could be separated out into communities, right? So if you have a work community, well, who are the five people that you're surrounded by most frequently or that you surround yourself with, at work? And what impact does that have? And your friends outside of work, what are the five or who are the five that you spend the most time with there? And what impact does that have? And it can continue to broaden out. And I think a lot of times, if we think about work specifically, and you think about, um, if somebody that you work with is always complaining, or always grumpy, or they only come to your office or your space if they have something to kind of be upset about or something to lay at your feet and leave with, the impact that that has on not just that moment, but also your day, versus if you are surrounded by someone that is positive and not like Sunshine Sally all the time, not completely unrealistic, maybe, but just as a good energy to be around, is real, but uplifts you or encourages you, and the impact that that can have on your day, right? And the comparison of those. And so trying to really think about those engagements, because I think we've all had those times where all of a sudden we're kind of worked up about something. We're sitting with a group of people and maybe it's at work, maybe it's not. And you're like, yeah, and yeah, and yeah. And like group think, right? Like it just sort of builds and becomes like a bigger deal. And all of a sudden you're kind of upset about this thing. And maybe you wouldn't have been, but for those five people. And that happening on occasion is one thing, but what if that's something that is happening all the time? And that those are the five people you're around on average the most. What impact is that going to have on you long term? And can we make adjustments to that so that we're surrounded by people who encourage and uplift and problem solve, not just vent about things they don't like, but trying to work to solve those or make them better? And how can we find those people we want to associate with? What adjustments do we need to make? Do I need to try to get off of this committee but onto this other? Or do I need to stop just gossiping about that person and have a conversation with them? Or do I need to go to my boss and say, hey, what could we do about this situation that several people are upset about? And so we can think about that in work. And then we can think about that in our friend groups too. and not just who we're choosing to be friends with, but also the type of friend that maybe we are. And are we uplifting and are we encouraging? Are we somebody that will bring up the average for our friends? Or are we more draining? And are we always taking and not giving? And how can we sort of assess ourselves and sort of our groups and make our entire friend group better too? Doesn't mean that you have to necessarily fail and say, hey, you guys aren't optimistic enough, so I'm finding new friends. But instead saying, hey, like when we get together, let's not talk about work. Let's not talk about anything that we're like, let's just stay like positive or try to talk about like goals and what we want and to encourage one, like just trying to improve that vibe before it spirals into just complaining. And then I think it also ties to social media, that what are we seeing in our social media feeds, our Facebook feed? What are we seeing on Instagram or Snapchat or YouTube? Whatever it is that you spend kind of your time on, is it, especially in this season with election time coming, is it positive? Does it make you angry? Does it make you upset? Or is it happy things that you are seeing? And what adjustments do you need to maybe make there? And are there people that you can see fewer of their posts, and not disconnecting from people that you disagree with? I don't think that's a good idea, but you can keep a distance, or maybe you set parameters for how much time you're going to spend there versus something that challenges you and motivates you and keeps you going. Maybe watching more yoga videos, right? Instead. And it does connect. I did start a Facebook community, a private group where people can come together and just talk about yoga. They can talk about meditation. They can ask questions. They can share articles that they're finding. It's all positive. It's all about yoga and all 8 limbs of yoga, right? Just trying to live a nourishing, healthy life, and where we can be in communication with one another, not just my business page where I'm pretty much the only one that can post, but a group where people can come together and share with one another. And so if you want some of that or more of that in your newsfeed, we would love to have you join. I'm going to put the link in the comments, but I also have a bit.ly URL you can use, and so it's bit.ly/TG yoga group. So bit.ly/TG yoga group. And that will take you straight to the group. You can join us and ask questions and share things. And I really do hope that that group grows, because I love that group. I love hearing from people and seeing what they post. And it ups my average spending time with my yoga community. And I am very blessed with a wonderful yoga community. You guys are so supportive, and I really, truly appreciate you all and enjoy sharing with you. And the yoga Facebook group, the TG Yoga Facebook group, really allows me to hear more back from you. And so, like even right now, I'm just seeing my own face on my screen talking, but I love to hear back from you all as well. So I really hope that you'll join. You can invite as many friends as you want to join as well, if you know that they're looking for something, or they're looking to up their average and have more positivity and more of those daily or even weekly reminders to come back to themselves and practice their yoga, whatever that looks like. So I hope that you will take this idea, this quote, that you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, and think about what that could mean and what changes you could make to surround yourself with people who are going to up your average and help you be the best that you can be. And hopefully, I'll see a few more of you in our Facebook group and share all the time. Share often, daily, ask questions, and just get in there and let's lift one another up. So have a great night. I hope you have a beautiful week, and I will see you next week. Have a good night. Namaste.